All right. Okay, you'll start when I knock, yeah? Okay. Hello, my name is Ryan Baker. I'm your physician assistant today. I'm going through a couple of exams. I understand you're here for a mental status exam and a neurologic exam, is that correct? Fantastic. So the first part of this is largely observational. I'm going to be looking at your appearance and behavior, namely your level of consciousness, your posture and body positioning. I'm also looking at, guys, I have this, hold on. I'll look at your level of consciousness, your posture, motor behavior, as well as, I know facial expression is on there, and your dress, grooming, personal hygiene. Now we're going to move on to your speech and language. We're going to be listening throughout this interview for the quantity, the rate, the volume, the fluency, and articulation of words. Also want to be observing your mood and affect, namely the presence of any anger, sadness, indifference, contentment, joy, euphoria, or anxiety. After that, I want to make sure I'm paying particular attention to your thoughts and perceptions and trying to ascertain thought processes like logic, relevance, coherence, and organization. Thought content, presence of any compulsions, obsessions, phobias, or anxieties, as well as the presence of any, your perceptions, like the perception or presence of any hallucinations or delusions, as well as your insight and judgment. So now we're going to move on to actual cognitive testing. So the first thing we're going to do is test your orientation to time, place, and self. So I'm going to ask you a few questions. You just answer them to the best of your ability, okay? So first question is, do you know what day of the week it is today?
It's Wednesday.
Wednesday, excellent. And do you know what month we're in?
May.
Still, yes. And what year are we in?
2025.
2025, excellent. And now to place, do you know what building we're in right now?
In the health professions building.
Okay, great. And what city are we in?
Orem,
Okay, and what state?
Utah.
Okay. Can you tell me your full name
Emily Elizabeth Ressa.
and date of birth?
August 19th, 1994.
Fantastic, thank you. Now we're going to move on to attention testing. So I'm going to give you a word and I'm going to spell it for you. What I want you to do is spell it back to me, but spell it backwards, okay? Okay, so the word is world. It's W-O-R-L-D. You spell it backwards for me.
D-L-R-O-W.
Fantastic. Now we're going to go to memory, some memory questions, okay? Are you currently married?
No.
Do you have any kids?
No.
Okay, I'm presuming that you graduated high school.
Yes.
Do you remember the date of your graduation?
Yes.
You do?
Yeah.
That's surprising, I wouldn't remember. Okay, go ahead, tell me the date of your graduation from high school.
May 21st, 2012.
That's very impressive. Okay, so that's remote memory. So let's do something a little bit more recent. I know you've been sitting in the building for a little bit, but do you remember what the weather was like when you drove to the campus today?
It was hot.
Hot? Okay.
Yes.
Sunny, cloudy, rainy? Sunny, okay. And the last thing I'm going to do to test your memory and your new learning ability is I'm going to give you a list of 3 words. I want you to say those 3 words back to me. Then we're going to move on and do some other stuff, and I'm going to ask you to recall those words a little bit later on, okay? So the words are apple, table, penny. Can you say those back to me?
Apple, table, penny.
Fantastic, thank you so much. So like I said, remember those words. We're going to come back to them a little bit later. Now we're going to move on to some higher cognitive functioning. We're going to test your calculating ability. So I'm going to start with some simple arithmetic, okay? Can you add the numbers 7 and 5?
12.
Yes. Yeah. Okay, can you add the, this is going to be a little bit harder for you, but can you add 13 plus 25?
My mind just drew blank.
It's okay.
It's going
Do
to
your best.
be 13 plus 25 is 37.
Yes. No. Close.
38. 38.
Okay.
Yeah.
And now we're going to move on to just some abstract thinking. Can you tell me what is similar between an apple love it. And the last part of this higher cognitive functioning that we're going to test is your constructional ability. So if you wouldn't mind, go ahead and take this pencil and paper. Can you draw a clock face for me? So clock face with the numbers and a minute hand and an hour hand. And you can set the time to whatever time you want. Thank you very much. Great. Good job. Okay, do you remember those 3 words that I asked you to remember?
Yeah, apple, penny, too.
Fantastic. Okay, now we're going to move on to the actual neurologic exam. So we're going to start with a cranial nerve check, okay? So we have 12 cranial nerves. The first one, cranial nerve 1, is our olfactory nerve. And we're not going to test that today, but I'm going to tell you how we would test it if we wanted to, okay? So I'd use 2 distinguishable scents like vanilla and an orange peel. I'd have you close your eyes, close off one nostril, and then I'd present you with one of those and ask you to tell me which one it is. Then we'd repeat it on the other side, okay? This next one, we're going to test cranial nerves 2 and 3, and we're going to assess the size and shape of your pupil, as well as their reaction to direct and consensual light, okay? So you just look right at it. Excellent. Now we're going to test cranial nerves 3, 4, and 6 by doing extraocular movements. So what I want you to do is just focus right here on the end of this pen and follow with your eyes, but not with your mouth, not with your head, okay? Okay. Or your mouth. Don't follow with your head. Thank you. We're going to move on to cranial nerve 5. This has 2 components, a sensory component and a motor component. So we'll test the motor component first by testing the strength of your temporalis and your masseter muscles. I'm just going to have you close your mouth and clench your jaw. Excellent. Next thing, we're going to do the sensory function of cranial nerve 5. So I'm going to be touching you lightly on your forehead, your cheeks, and your jaw. I just want you to tell me if you feel it equally on both sides, okay?
Yep.
And here. Yep. And here. Thank you. Now we're going to move on to cranial nerve 7, which is facial nerve. I'm going to have you do a couple of funny movements with your face, and we're going to see if it's all functioning right, okay? So I want you to raise your eyebrows up to the ceiling. Good. Can you scrunch up your nose for me? Good. Can you give me a big old goofy smile? Excellent. And puff out your cheeks for me. Thank you. Next one is cranial nerve 8, or our vestibular cochlear nerve. I'm going to do that with a whispered voice test. And the way this is going to work is I'm going to ask you to just push on that little flappy thing in your ear, close it off, okay? I'm going to go to one side behind you. I'm going to whisper a series of letter number, and you just tell me what you heard, okay? So let's start by closing off that right side. All right.
2Q4.
Okay, switch ears.
3R5.
Fantastic. We're going to move on to cranial nerves 9 and 10, glossopharyngeal and the vagus nerve. This one's really easy. Just open up your mouth and say "om," looking for the movements. Looking for movement of the soft palate. Now we're going to move on to cranial nerve 11, or the accessory nerve, and we're going to do this by testing the strength of your neck and your shoulders. Okay. So I'm going to put my head right here. I'm going to have you turn your head towards my hand. Excellent. And this way. Okay. And I'm going to have you shrug up your shoulders. Don't let me push them down. Fantastic. And the last one, cranial nerve 12, is the hypoglossal nerve. Testing movement and deviation of the tongue. Go ahead and stick your tongue out for me and point your tongue to the left and point your tongue to the right. Excellent. Okay, cranial nerve exam is over. We move on to observation of your motor system. So I'm looking at your body position during movement and at rest. Body posture. Body posture position. Body posture and position. How about we do that? We cover both our bases. Movement and at rest, we're going to look for any tics, tremors, or fasciculations, as well as, what I always forget, inspected the gross muscle tone for size, contour, as well as any symmetry, or any atrophy. Now we're going to move on to coordination testing, okay? So we're going to play a little game called point-to-point movements. And we're going to start with your upper extremities. The way this is going to work is you're going to put your finger on your nose. We're going to do the index finger, okay? And then you're going to reach out and touch my finger. Then you're going to touch your nose, then my finger, then your nose, and my finger. And my finger's going to be moving around, okay? So you're going to try and hit a moving target. Okay, let's go ahead and start with the right hand. Okay. Touch, good. And nose, finger, nose, finger. Excellent. Let's switch hands to the left. Great, and now to test the lower extremity, what we're going to do is take the heel of your right foot and you're going to put it on your left knee and slide it down your shin. Thank you, and do the opposite. Fantastic. Now we're going to move on to a gait assessment. So I'm going to have you come stand down in front of me like this, okay, and I want you to turn and face that way. And what I'm going to do is just have you walk casually down to that gray line and stop and turn around. Thank you. Now I'm going to have you turn around. We're going to do a toe-to-toe walk for this one, okay? So you're going to walk like you're walking on a tightrope, and you come back to me.
I haven't done this since my DUI.
Okay. Now we're going to have you turn around, and then you're going to walk on your tippy toes back to that gray line.
Just kidding.
Okay, and turn around, face me. Last one is walk back towards me on your heels. Fantastic, thank you. And then stay standing, maybe step out just a wee bit, okay, right there, and stay right where you are, you're perfectly positioned. What I want you to do is put your hands out to the side like this, palms to the ceiling. We're gonna do what's called a Romberg test. It's a test of proprioception. I'm gonna have you close your eyes and just hold that position. I'm gonna stand right here just in case you fall over. Are you thinking?
I'm not. This is, I see a neurologist for this.
Okay, this is a good example of an off proprioception. Okay. Next one is you're gonna just put your hands out in front of you like this. We're gonna test pronator drift. Go ahead and close your eyes, and again, I'm right here just in case. Excellent. Okay. Now you can have a seat back up here on the table. We're gonna do a few tests of muscle strength. Okay. So we're gonna start with testing shoulder abduction. So I want you to bring your elbows up like this, like you're making some wings, okay? And I'm gonna push down, don't let me push down. Excellent, okay, you can put your arms down again. Bring them up like this. Now I'm gonna test elbow flexion, pull towards you, elbow extension, push away. And can you take my fingers in your hands and squeeze them as hard as you can for grip strength? Good. We're gonna come down like this. I want you to make a fist for me and put them down like that. Now what I want you to do is lift your knuckles like you're pointing them to the ceiling. Okay, for wrist extension, thank you. And let's turn your hands over, put your fingers together like this, and then I'm going to ask you to spread your fingers out like that and keep them there, don't let me squeeze. Good. And lastly, I'm going to have you push against my thumbs with your thumbs for thumb opposition. And that other one we were testing is finger abduction. I'm going to move down to the lower extremities now. I'm going to test hip flexor strength, okay? So you can brace yourself on the table if you need to, but I want you to take this left knee and push it up towards the ceiling. Excellent. Hip flexion. Again on this side, hip flexion. And now I'm going to put my hands on the outsides of your knees, and I want you to push against my hands for hip abduction. And then I'm going to have you squeeze your knees together for hip adduction. Good. And push out with your ankles down here for knee extension, and pull back towards you for knee flexion. Good, now lift your toes up to the ceiling for dorsiflexion, and then push down like pushing on a gas pedal for plantar flexion. Thank you. Let's move on to sensory testing. So this is a test called sharp dull. Basically, I'm going to touch you with either the pointy end, the sharp end, or the dull end, and you're going to tell me what you feel. So just to demonstrate, okay, this is sharp, this is dull, okay? So I have you close your eyes, and then you tell me what you feel. Okay, go ahead and close your eyes. Sharp. Okay. Sharp. How about here? Fantastic. See your other hand, we're going to do the same thing.
Dull. Sharp.
Okay, we're going to come down into your feet. We're going to start with the right foot. And tell me what you feel.
Sharp.
Okay. Here. And here.
Dull.
Okay. On this side.
Sharp.
Okay. reflexes. All right, move on to reflexes. So we're going to start up here in your biceps tendon. I just want you to relax your arm, put it in your lap like that, biceps tendon, and then we're going to check your triceps tendon. Okay, I want you to make like a scarecrow and just hang that arm loosely right there. Okay, come over to this other side. Again, same thing. Okay, let's make like a scarecrow. Good. We're going to do here patellar tendon, just relax. Good. Reflexes. Excellent. And then down here, the Achilles tendon. Just relax that. Okay. I'm going to have you lie down on your back for me. If you don't mind just bringing your shirt up to just below your bra line there. Okay. And just relax as best you can. Ah, see? Good reflex. Okay, that's an abdominal cutaneous reflex. Now we're moving on to the Dubinsky reflex.
I don't have that one.
Okay. At least you don't have a bad reflex. Okay. That concludes the majority of our exam, but I want you to stay right there just for a minute. I'm going to turn my grader. And what special test would you like me to do? Koenig sign. Okay, this is a test of meningitis, or meningeal signs. We're going to bring the knee like this, and we're going to extend the leg. And what I watch for is a reflexive flexion of the neck, indicate something like meningitis or subarachnoid hemorrhage. Okay.
Straight leg raise.
Straight leg raise. Do you want me to do a second meningeal sign?
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Ah, dang it!
You did great.
Keep going, keep going.
Yeah,
Okay,
keep going.
keep
You
going.
need to give us more time.
Well, it's because I hemmed and hawed for like 2 minutes at the beginning. I was like, okay. Nuchal rigidity. So here I do some passive flexion of the neck, and if it's stiff, not moving, that's nuchal rigidity, again a meningeal sign.
Now it's straight.
Straight leg raise. Okay, so what we're going to do is have the patient's leg nice and straight. We're going to passively flex at the hip, looking for a reproduction of lower back pain or even radicular symptoms down the back of the leg, which would indicate compression of nerve root down in the L spine, like L4, L5, or L5S1.
We'll do proprioception.
Proprioception. Okay, you stay there. So proprioception, we test on the big toe. And what I'm gonna do, and you might sit up to watch this if you want, okay? So I'm gonna be wiggling your toe, and this is up, this is down. With your eyes closed, I'm gonna be wiggling these and leaving it in a position. I just want you to tell me where I left it, okay? All right. Is that up or down?
Down. Up.
Fantastic. And a positive would be she wouldn't know whether it's up or down, and that might indicate a condition like multiple sclerosis or diabetic neuropathy.
Do we have to do both sides?
Tertiary
or just one?
syphilis. Just one.
Okay.
Yeah, special test.
For this discriminative sensation, a 2-point discrimination.
Okay, I'll have you sit up for this part. 2-point discrimination. So I'm going to use my little makeshift caliper here. And you're going to tell me, I'm going to use your hand, okay? And you're going to tell me whether you feel 1 point or 2 points.
Okay.
Okay? So go ahead and close your eyes, not just
By one.
Okay, do you feel 1 point or 2?
One.
Okay, how about here?
2.
And how about here?
1.
Okay. And that would be an indication of like a lesion in the posterior column.
And then vibration.
Vibratory sense. So again, we maybe use this in something like diabetic neuropathy, MS. So we take our 128 hertz tuning fork and put it on a bony prominence like the IP joint down here. And then I'm gonna have you close your eye. Can you feel that vibrating?
Not anymore.
Not anymore?
But I did
Okay.
at first.
So you feel that vibrating right now?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna have you close your eyes and tell me when you feel it stop.
Now.
Okay. And then if she didn't feel it there, we'd move on up until we ascertained where the sensation was. That was good. Questions? Did I do it? Okay. Huh?
You did hip extension.
Ah, dang it. I knew I was going to forget that one too.
That's the one.
Because every time I ran through it, I kept coming back to it. Okay, did I hit? Is that the only one that I forgot? Okay, I was afraid that I forgot. Okay.